everyone, welcome to Savor the Moments with Tia and Friends. And today I have the honor to be here with Captain Peter Haskell, one of my new friends on the East End. And 'tis the season of fishing and holiday cheer.
It is. It always is.
It is, right?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so since we're exploring the shore today, tell me what we're going to be doing out here with this beautiful ocean.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day today, Tia, and we're going to do a little surf casting today.
Surf casting?
Yeah.
So I'm not going on a board?
Correct. We're not on a board. We'll keep our feet on the beach, and we'll be casting some lures and some baits into the ocean to explore the types of fish that we see around us on a local level. And after that, we'll head up to our facility in Quag to taste some seafood.
Just taste?
We're going to do a lot of tasting, actually.
Savoring?
Yeah, we're going to savor and taste probably at least 7 fishes.
7? So that brings a ring to my ear.
Yeah, I think there might be something to that number as well. Yep.
Okay. You hear that, everyone? 7 fish, 7 fish. So let's see what we're going to be doing on the East End on this beautiful day. And what beach are we in?
We're in Hampton Bays.
Hampton Bays, okay.
Yep, this is in Southampton Township. And you can see there's a long stretch of beautiful beaches right down to our local inlet.
Wow, this is so beautiful. So tell me about this fish basket.
Yeah, the basket, with fishing and all the things that you can do, you start to build equipment that's not only good for one type of thing, but many. And this is a traditional fish basket that holds a basket of fish, which is kind of a unit that we measure fish by on a rough level. And I put these floats on it because when I'm free diving for bay scallops, I can swim with this basket, right?
Oh.
So it floats next to me, and the floats actually gives enough flotation to support a full basket of scallop.
Wow, I'm loving it. Did you make it?
I did make it,
okay.
With the pool noodles, right? These are a great universal
I love it.
type of thing. And so we've just got some random tackle, our sand spikes, and extra sweatshirt in case we get chilly.
I like that. Always come prepared when you're on the shore.
There's a sandbar there to our right where the wave breaks. In front of us, they're not so much. They're having trouble curling, which means it's deeper water right where we're standing. So that's a good thing for fishing because a lot of times the fish will come up into that deeper channel to feed. They're not going to necessarily want to go over the sandbar because there's less water to swim.
Wow.
So I'm thinking this is probably
the best spot
right where we are.
Okay. And is this something that you can purchase or?
Yeah, the sand spikes are available at your local tackle shop. We have in East Quag, we have Haskell's Bait and Tackle.
Okay.
Shop of ours, as well as one in West Hampton Beach. And this is the type of stuff that we carry for people to get out. Tools of the trade. And quite simply now, that's buried enough that we can set it down if the fish were to take the lure or the bait, it's not going to topple over. You can keep them pretty close, but a couple of feet in between because sometimes the lines can cross. You want to have a distance so that doesn't happen.
All right, so Captain, tell me a little bit more about your story and what inspired you to become a captain.
It's a good question that goes back to when I was a young kid, really. When I was just a boy, my father did a lot of clamming in the summertime, and it sparked a bit of entrepreneurial spirit in me to get out on the water and realize that these resources were around us. And my father was a biology teacher throughout the year, and in the summers he would clam, and he also gave me a good education on how to respect our resources, how to interact with them. And so this to me, at that age was really exciting. I went on to get a boating permit at a young age. At age 14, you can get a boater's safety permit. You can operate a boat on your own. And at that time, you could also get a commercial clamming permit. So I did all those things at that age. And that enabled me to get around. I actually would ride my bike from the house to where I kept the boat. It was a woman's property where I mowed her lawn in order to have permission to keep my boat back there. And at that time, Murch's Bay had a lot of duck farms that were a really vibrant part of the industry in our area. They were also buying clams. They were dealing with clams as well. So I could take my bike to the boat, I could get out on the boat, do a bunch of clamming, take the boat to the duck farms, which were right on the water, to sell them, and then get myself home.
Wow.
So that's really where a lot of the inspiration and time investment came from early on. And so over the years, all those interests and passion developed into all sorts of types of fishing.
It's actually good because kids nowadays, they want to drive a car. Now they can drive a boat at 14, so they don't have to wait till they're 16.
I think, the rules may have changed a little bit.
Okay.
That was my experience, and I think it's very similar now.
Now, do you do a lot of work with the locals?
We do. Part of the evolution of my work was around 2007, I had two business plans that I made, one for a fish market and one for a bait and tackle store.
Okay.
At that time in history, there was a lot of regulatory change with fishing, and there was a lot of pressure on fishermen. I decided to take the path of the bait and tackle store for a few reasons. One is that I could exercise my fishing permits, to harvest bait for my shop and keep active on the water that way as a bayman. And secondly, it was an opportunity to engage the public and share some of the knowledge about operating within our resources responsibly. So at that point, as a captain, I could take them out on the boat to take them for charters too. So wow. It was really a conduit to have a store that led to relationships where you could take these customers out and actually take them fishing. And to me, business is one thing, but that type of experience is how you build a community location and a community relationship that has a lot more to it than just buying and selling stuff.
Now tell me a little bit more about your relationship with the Amagansett Food Institute, because that's how we met.
That is how we met, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Amagansett Food Institute, they're a great group of people that operate out of Southampton. Recently, I had done a cooking demo that showcased local sustainable seafood, and that, again, is another wonderful platform to have the opportunity not only to go and cook and to produce, but also, again, a vehicle to communicate with the public, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to local seafood and how it is sustainable.
But what does sustainability mean to you? Because with other people, sustainable is all about like reusing.
Right. Yep. That's a form
resourcing.
Of it, for sure. Yep.
But in the fisherman's world, what's sustainability?
I think it's a great question because the word sustainability gets used a lot.
Yeah.
We almost get desensitized to that word to the point where we don't want to use it so much because it's used quite often. And in the world of fishing, there's so many facets of what sustainability means. One of them is the idea that the stock of the fish will sustain itself. So we're very fortunate in New York and actually in the nation to have groups that are regulating our fisheries quite closely, possibly more so than other countries. So when you've got a group that actually watches the stocks of each type of fish, they make quotas that are quarterly addressed, and it ensures that those fish are not being overfished. So in essence, that means that population of fish can sustain itself, which is one level of sustainability.
Wow.
So really, any domestic fish that's responsibly harvested has a level of sustainability. So through Haskell's Seafood, we also like to create a path to learning about the steps of sustainability itself, because there's more than one level.
Okay. How many levels?
Well, it could be countless if you really, wanted to pick apart the little.
Because I'm thinking, is it 5, 10?
I look at it as a path. I think that word can be overwhelming to people. It can be intimidating, and that's exactly what you don't want. You don't want to create a good thing that's very hard to understand and figure out. So through Haskell's Seafood, like I was saying, we create a path. So if you buy a domestic fish, one that was landed in the United States, that is a level of sustainability. The next level would be, let's say, how close to home was that fish landed, right? So you might have southern shrimp being caught, which is, a wonderful product of the South, and you might have fish on the right here on Long Island being landed. You start thinking about the carbon footprint of the fish. How far did it have to travel to get to your plate? Now, if we take that out a level and start talking about imports of seafood in the United States, unfortunately right now the statistic is over 90% of the seafood consumed here in the States is imported seafood, which is shocking. We've got wonderful, vibrant fisheries around us, and what it has turned into, in my opinion, is a real price point kind of a game. Because, let's say, another country might not have regulations like we do. It gives them an opportunity for that fish to be less expensive. They can catch more of it. So the supply and demand starts to shift.
Okay.
So that's one thing that I think pushes that 90% mark up as high as it goes.
But wouldn't it be great if more people understood there's always like, you should shop local or you should dine local. Why not shop local within the fisherman world? Like, let's go to your local fisherman. Let's tell them exactly what you want or what you guys are offering. And then they can support you and other fishermen throughout the U.S.
Absolutely. I think there is a demand for that now. People are starting to become more sensitive to where their food is coming from, and especially it being local. And I think personally I've seen that push, and even the last couple of years it's gotten more and more robust. It looks like
oh my gosh. I think you got something. That's
we might have had a bite there. Yeah, we had a nibble.
Wait, did it go away? Wait, it's...
Well, that's okay, because this is part of the game. So,
I think we did. No? Oh, how would we know?
We're going to keep an eye on it.
Okay.
If there's a fish that's going to really bounce and become very active, but just at that moment, it looked like we had
just to let you guys know, as you can tell right here, he casted this out, and that's why we're looking up, because we want to make sure we catch something.
Got some entertainment.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think.
Of course you're sure.
Probably gave it a nibble. So when that happens, it's very tempting to just reel it in to see what happens.
Okay.
But the thing to do is to leave it until you really see the rod.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's also a fact that most of the seafood that is imported, the average number of hands that have handled that fish is 15. So if you can imagine when you're eating seafood, that it could be 15 people had picked that up and put it down for whatever reason to get it to where it's going. Those are some of the numbers you take out of the equation on the local level too.
Okay. So within your company, how many hands?
It's a great question. If it's myself harvesting the fish, clearly, I'll catch that fish, take it to the facility, process it, and you truly got one set of hands at that point. We do work with other local fishermen, and we're proud to support all of the activity on the East End. So in that case, if I'm buying fish from one of the local boats, you've got the fisherman. I think we can say the fisherman counts as one set of hands. I don't know if it does in that statistic of 15, but in our world, just for good measure, we'll say it does. You've got the fisherman that's one set. We would be two sets of hands. And then if we can reach the public directly,
wow, that's less than a hand.
That's less than a hand. Another thing is that in the United States, we have a really high set of standards for food safety. We're highly regulated, highly monitored. So when you think of food that's been handled so much coming from other places that might not exercise the same food safety, those are the types of things that I get concerned about myself when I'm starting to, decide what's for dinner that day.
And I like that. So when opposed to going to a grocery store, which I'm not knocking going to the grocery store.
Not at all. They have great selections.
They have great selection, but if you go to a local grocery store, wouldn't it be a really good idea to go to the butcherman and then the fisherman and ask them, like, where has this been sourced?
Absolutely. I encourage people, even in a restaurant situation, a grocery situation, really there's a call to action here that we can talk about. In the long run, everybody can kind of take part in that good exercise of just quite simply asking, where was this from? And then a set of transparency comes to the table, which makes it a lot easier for everyone to operate.
So being on the East End and living out here, I've learned so much about the local eateries and how a lot of the chefs are starting to work with captains like yourself. And it's fish to table. Is that right? Is that the right terminology, or is it?
There's lots of
dock to table, or how do you?
Absolutely. There's lots of emphasis on getting fish from a boat to the table it's going to be eaten at, and it has become a lot of the language that's out there as to how to describe that to people. How to ensure that that's happening. Our role with the restaurants really is to work closely with chefs to talk about what's being caught now, what's timely. We've worked with some wonderful chefs using underutilized seafoods, transitioning, let's say, something on their menu that could be promoted now as a local, sustainable type fish. So there's lots of benefits, not only for us as fishermen, and processors, but also for the chefs and the establishments to work together. And that continues to grow and happen more commonly. Every week I'm having appointments, which are a lot of fun, to sit down with the chef and really talk about food, talk about pairing local seafood with the types of vegetables and the types of preparations they're using. So really every day is kind of thrilling that way.
Now, do you ever do like a roundtable discussion with like a winemaker and then the chef and then you, and it's just like...
What's really happening is that agriculture and fishing are starting to show up at all of the same type roundtable meetings. There's so much in common between the two. We share a lot of the same approaches to getting our products to end users, to restaurants. And agriculture has been a little ahead of seafood because logistically seafood's harder to handle.
Got it.
So in a way, working together, it gives the whole industry on the East End a bit of strength.
And talking about strength, I'm not picking this up when it's going to go because I might go in the ocean. So you may want to hold on to it.
Okay, all right. I'll make sure.
No, but I think that's wonderful that it's like a tight-knit family.
It is. A lot of our pre-made products that we prepare are grab and go, what they call, something that's easy to pick up and purchase. And we find ourselves working with the local farm stands quite often. And you forge relationships with the farmers because now you can take seafood and plug it in to their program.
Oh, wow.
And in return, I might be asking them for a certain type of vegetable that we need this week.
Wow.
So there's really strong relationships forged, yeah.
And did you ever imagine that this was going to happen with you in your business so many years ago?
A funny thing is that I've always recognized that the opportunity to kind of do what we're doing now, and I think you need to be in a time where everyone's ready for that, the consumer, the businesses, and I think we're at the kind of a special time that way. There's so much interest now in bringing local source seafoods, local source vegetables to restaurants, to end users, that it's all very timely. But I will say that, this type of thinking, I think, has been a part of our development all these years.
And what I love about what you're doing is you're so passionate about like the whole everything. Like every time we talk, we've only talked a couple times, but I really enjoyed our conversation. Side note, I really enjoy it because it's like you so love what you do, and the ocean is like, it's like in your veins and in your heart and it's your soul. It's like a mind, body, and soul experience for you out here.
It is. My mother always says that she baptized me in the ocean when I was just a few months old. She dipped my feet in.
I feel that.
I think a lot of Long Islanders can share that feeling. Having grown up with the salt and the sand and, being exposed to our estuaries and the different types of life that we're really fortunate to be a witness to. There's a bit of responsibility at play to kind of preserve that culture as a community. And that's a lot of what we're doing, which makes every day not a day of work. It really is exciting work to get out and do what you love and talk about where you came from and work with the resources that we have.
And how do you savor your moments each and every day?
Well, that's a great question. When I'm fishing, that's obviously a great opportunity to really take note of where you are and be thankful for the things we have around us. Preparing dinner, that's another time to sit down and really enjoy the fruits of your labor. Quite often we're eating foods that we've harvested and working with vegetables that have come from a neighboring farm, and those are all moments you savor. You're in a fortunate place when you get to do that pretty regularly. So this lure is called a diamond jig.
Okay.
And this looks like a bait fish that runs in the surf this time of year, which is called a sand eel. So it's got the same shape as these fish. So remember we were talking about matching the hatch?
Yeah.
Again, that's kind of what we're attempting to do, is to put a lure out that looks very much like what the fish are eating.
Got it.
So
Got
to
it.
cast,
Okay.
what we do is pick up the line with our index finger. And we open what we call the bail. And at this point, that's when I'm going to take it back and throw the lure out. So we're going to open the bail like we said. We've got our forefinger on there. And then basically she's back over our shoulder and forward. And you can get a pretty far cast with a diamond jig like that. And basically you can reel this in at a moderate pace You can take it very slowly. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Take this hand, we'll put it up here, that area.
Okay.
And you can start to reel with your left hand.
So this is reeling out and in
If you push that forward, you're doing great. So, this is a type of fishing that's more active. So now if you get bored at the beach sitting and watching the rod, to cast out and retrieve is, a more active type of fishing.
So I'm not that strong because I can't even do it the other way.
Well, the reel is, you're doing great because the reel's designed to only go that direction.
Oh. Yep. So if I catch something, how do I reel it in?
You're going to continue. You're actually, by pushing that forward like you're doing, you're bringing that lure in towards you right now.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let's put it back out.
On a good week, I'm probably fishing 4 or 5 days a week. Some weeks, it might be a lot less than that, depending on what's happening.
I'm trying to see. I
Feel like something's up?
I don't know. I feel like it's a wave.
Could be. It could be.
And I'm trying to see that one over
I know. I've got my eye on that rod.
No, but I honestly... Wait, I think... Oh, no, I didn't get anyone. No. Just keep reeling it in. Just keep reeling it in.
These sand eels live in the sand, so what you're doing is great, because that makes the lure look like it's kind of moving right along.
I like that. So the 7 fish that we're preparing, or excuse me, that you're preparing, and I'm going to be savoring, of course with you and some other friends.
That's right.
What are these 7 fish that we're going to dive into?
Well, what's fun about the 7 fish concept, we're going to put a local spin on it. So we're going to commit this effort to local selections. One of them is a very traditional calamari salad. And a lot of people don't know that right here on our oceans, a big resource for our fisheries is local squid, which is where the calamari, would be created from.
Okay.
Our local calamari is a really wonderful, light and fluffy calamari. Quite often people are frying it, but ours is so nice that you can poach it to make a salad. So that's one of the dishes we have. Yeah.
Okay.
And, another dish that we like to make that's part of the 7 is a fish chowder. And basically that's the fish that might be available at the moment. And the chowder is built with like a leek and a fish stock, potato, tomato, and we add a little light cream, so it kind of warms you up this time of year. It's a really nice one. It's not too heavy though.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about 7 fishes, that's a lot of meals to eat, right? Or a lot of dishes. So we're trying to keep each dish a little lighter too, so you can get to the next one and not.
I like that. It's a little culinary adventure around the holidays.
Yeah, like a tasting. You want to have it, you want it to be a pleasant experience from start to finish without there being too much along the way.
Now, did you take any classes in any of the culinary schools locally?
I'm not formally trained. I had the great opportunity to work around and with some really wonderful chefs.
Okay.
And over the years, I learned a lot of my technique from really having these friends that were on a very professional level, educated and trained. And a lot of that, I think, rubbed off because of my passion for seafood.
Wow.
And why those friends really were friends at different times of experience was because of the fact that my fisheries knowledge was something they were very interested in.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So here I am, very interested in their techniques.
Yes, that's really beautiful.
You start hanging out with people that have synergy like that.
Wow.
And I think that's really natural development in life. It's a very cool thing.
I felt something.
I think we're getting close to the shore now.
Oh, maybe not yet. All right, I want to cast this out again, but you can cast it out again.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take a good cast.
Yeah.
Give you plenty of time to reel.
Take 2.
I do build custom rods, and in the adventure of fishing and the years that go by, you start to build your own equipment. You start to see the way you would like to see your gear operating. So quite often, like with crab pots or eel pots, you're going to wind up putting them together yourself for a specific design. And in rod building too, this is something that we do for ourselves and also for other people. So that rod we actually built for a local hotel that we do a fishing experience with in the summertime on a bi-weekly basis. So we'll go down and fish with their with their clients, and which is a
I
lot
like
of fun.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's like it's perfect because you're cross-marketing.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of synergy in all these things to where you've got this great opportunity for education. You've got an opportunity to talk about how to responsibly interact with our resources, and it's really a family event. Right from children all the way up to adults. You can talk about, the culinary adventure of seafood, and it really touches everybody at some point.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, does your family work with you?
Yeah, actually, my brother is the general manager of our tackle shops. Yep.
Nice.
And my girlfriend is the food manager of our seafood operation.
I like that. I like that.
Every now and again, my mother will jump in to help us out because she enjoys it too.
Okay. So it's a family affair.
It's a family affair. And
Okay.
we got a really nice staff too.
Wait.
You got a bite?
I don't know.
All right, hold on.
Maybe not. Do you see it? No?
Yeah, no, you're still out there.
It's not hard to get out though, so maybe he left.
Could have been a bite, yeah.
Ah. So it's a family affair.
Well, yeah, we have family that's involved at different points of what we do, and we've also got a very, we've been very fortunate with our staff.
Wait, is that a little fish? I'm just kidding.
It got hooked up on itself.
See, I knew I felt something.
Could have been a bite though.
See, I love the fact that you incorporate, like, the family is a part of your daily life.
It is, yeah. I
So
think
that's
we're
a
very
beautiful
fortunate to be able to work
thing.
together.
Yeah.
And, you've got that common bond of experience together that really makes it a natural thing. And, I started to say we're very fortunate, too, to have great staff that we found and hired over the years. We've had people with us that have been there for a very long time. And, you build an extended family that way, too. It's a lot of fun.
So 'tis the season of gathering,
Yes, it is. It is.
and it's not just for the holidays, but just in general. You're just able to be with your family.
Right.
That's such a beautiful thing.
It is, because we do work hard, we work long hours, but when you're with family, again, it's not hard work. It's something that is a part of your day. And when you're passionate about it, again, like we were saying, that's really a gift, if anything.
I love that. The gift of giving.
Yes. Yep.
And you're actually giving us nurturing, like through the fish.
Yeah.
This having fish this season.
Right.
So I'm excited to try it.
Great. Me too.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun with that.
And my fingers, as you can tell, it's like a little bit of cold.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm like, oh my gosh.
A little chilly today.
A little chili. Can we have some chili too?
We can do something like that.
I'm just kidding.
We'll have to start with the fish chowder.
I would love to start with the fish chowder.